Well, I thought I would show people who will never understand when they look at this and understand the signs of these just bare posts. So,
sorry, understand the what?
The meaning of these bare posts that they can see in the background here.
Oh, okay.
What your hand's on.
Well, I mean, they're just waiting for their fence.
And that is growth,
yeah.
Isn't it? It's, we're improving. We're growing.
All the time.
That's huge.
Well, I mean, this forest here is, all around you, this is what our whole property looked like. So when you guys see the videos of the fields or the bare areas where there's no trees, we cut down every one of those trees. This is how the whole all 10 acres was. Just like this. We're cutting them down one tree at a time, one battery at a time.
Oh, is this a product placement?
No. I gotta say, we do use a lot of Roby, and I like Roby. There's a time and a place for electric and a time and a place for gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does an okay job. But you don't want to be around this many trees with a battery. On the bright side, it gives me a lot of excuses to take breaks.
Slacker!
Yeah! So what I'm doing now is I'm clearing with this. I'm clearing these type of trees, although it can handle any size tree. And I'm actually whippersnipping, which is, and I can do that for about 20 minutes per battery. And these batteries are a few years old, but it's a lot of work. So I'm really putting it through the grinder. So.
And the benefit, of course, though this is not a product review or anything, is the fact that I can start it.
Yes.
I can put it down. It's just a kind of a little button.
You don't have to pull this frigging thing over. Whenever you want to cut something, that's it. It cuts. And then it stops. Like, there's no...
There's no messing with it to get started on a project. You could just, it's going to go.
And I have had a few gas ones, and it is overall lighter, even with the battery. It is a big battery. But overall, this is still lighter than a regular chainsaw.
And this
so
is
it's better.
The biggest, so 18-inch blade.
There's no thickness this chainsaw couldn't handle. This is going to do any size tree. It's just, it won't be able to do it all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's breaks to be had with the battery, but it's nice because I also get to use it.
Yeah. And this isn't the biggest battery. This is only 4 AH. It goes like 8, so it can be double this. So anyway, there's a lot. Yeah. Like I said, this isn't about a product placement. It's a good chainsaw. I wouldn't want to deforest all 10 acres with it, but I bet you I'm gonna.
I bet you we're going to. And so what is going to happen after this?
Hold on, let me cut this. So you mean after I'm done clearing? Well, then the fence, the wire goes up.
Right.
One roll at a time.
And how did we take that wire back?
We take it back one roll at a time on a sled. So if you guys haven't watched the video I did of bringing the mulch back, watch that, and it's 10 times farther. So watch the work I put into just moving that mulch from the front of our property to 200 yards in. And now imagine moving it 5 to 10 acres.
Yeah.
And that's not an exaggeration. We're headed to the back of the property.
Yeah. So we're quite back. Yeah. And we're excited about this because goats are grazers, not browsers. They are browsers, not grazers. So while this doesn't look like what you'd put your horse through, for goats, this is a dream come true. It's also the reason why we got a heritage sheep, because they do really well on this type of thing. So they are part of our team as well in working with changing this landscape into some of what you've seen in the previous videos. By clearing this, and then we cut out selectively after that. So it's quite a process, but this is huge, isn't it?
Yes. And like you said, talking about there's a lot to be said for having goats and sheep. There's no one perfect animal because they both do different things. So your goats clear something and the sheep eat what the goats aren't eating, and vice versa. So it's wonderful.
And it's perfect. And it's how we've cleaned up all of our current fields.
Yeah.
Is through that pairing, isn't it?
Like I said, anytime you see the opened area, that was done by the animals.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I wish I could show everybody, but maybe I'll be able to find a picture. Probably not. You'll just have to wait and see future videos. But the weeds and brush and grass type stuff is taller than Dean and taller than this fence. But where we have the fields, you can see that it's right to the ground. And that is the goats and the sheep working together to help us. And then after that, we do, some stump work and tilling and seeding and making like a real life pasture for animals that are not browsers.
And on that note, another aspect of this, which is totally different, is ticks. We're in knee-high grass. The ticks out here are astronomical. We have chickens that help with that. And I got to say, there are ticks out here. I don't see more than, a few dozen a year being knee-deep and never attached to me. So those chickens are doing a good job.
And they're all chickens we've taken in for people. They're
those
all
are all
roosters.
rescued.
That we've taken in for people who don't want to see them go for meat, but they also can't keep roosters because they're in city limits where bylaw will give them the boot. And so we have quite the team, right?
We do. I mean, I say it and it's like a pitch line, but it's a tangled flock for a reason. Not only is it a reason because you have no control over what you rescue, but it's the teamwork. And you'll see that in a lot of holistic farming and any type of regenerative farming. They always talk about it's the whole ecosystem. I don't want to get too, tree huggy and get into all that, but it is like, it goes to show the problem with mainstream farming. When you strip it bare, you plant your one product and that's it. Everything dies. Everything will die eventually. It needs that cycle, it needs the trees in the fields for the shade. It all works together.
Right.
For the animals to take their breaks while they're grazing your fields.
And which is why we do, we're moving more towards the regenerative farming, but also silvopasture.
Of course.
So let's talk about this field of trees here. Are we going to have you cut all the trees in this field to make just a bare field? What are we going to do about that?
Of course not. All our best trees. We cut down the little trees, and the only trees I'm cutting now are in between the posts that would get in the way of the line. And then we cut down like these little shrubby trees that offer nothing. But these big, beautiful trees, what we do is we usually cut off their lower branches so that the animals can walk through peacefully, and then we'll leave all the top for shade.
Right.
And we'll do that with all the beautiful trees, like steadily, because the grass still gets its sun. You just have to space them out, and that's the ideal field.
Right. And it can also provide money for a homestead as well, because you also have the trees, the lumber, as a cash crop when needed. So it's almost like you're doing multiple things to as an investment, that having the trees in your fields are an investment. Variety of food, shade, which is very important. They help the ground, and all those things. So we won't have to replenish any of the minerals that come out of the ground from that, which is exciting. And
I can see why the big farms don't do that. And it just goes back to the problem with big farming. You can't have these trees. The tractors can't get around them. It's not something we have to worry about. We have to worry about the flip side, is in doing farming with no lovely tractor. But this is the way. There's a reason things are moving in this direction. People are realizing it now. You can't do what we've been doing this whole time. It's not working. Yeah. And now we're seeing it, that it just doesn't work. Right. Because more chemicals have to be poured into that field to grow those potatoes, because we've stripped it bare, and now we have to, if we want to grow things, we have to put that in first. Exactly. Versus let the land recover and provide that on its own. It doesn't look good, but this is what healthy land looks like. Right. But it's not pleasing to the eye. It's not symmetrical. It's not flat and perfect. But lush and green. But it's alive. And it has so many layers, right? Below this grass, there's the dirt. And all this grass supports that, right? It's the ecosystem. And look, there's a little stream right there. Like there's water and, it's random and it's chaotic. But that's natural. And it's beautiful. It is so beautiful out here. And so what these posts, like they go, you can't, behind you, you probably can't tell, but the camera can't actually see the existing fields. So we are actually quite out as our expansion. Now, how did you do all these? These posts?
Yeah.
Well, we dig a little tiny hole and we put the pointy end in it and then we pound it down with that post pounder that's sitting on that post over there. So manual labor, and there is no other way. Like you get, so it's a post pounder, it goes on top, you pick it up, it's solid steel, and you drop it down, and that's your weight. The only other way to do it is with a sledgehammer, and my aim's not good enough for that. Plus, realistically, that's just easier. You can't miss.
Right. And so in one sitting, we did all of the posts that we currently have, which is probably over 50.
Yeah.
And it might have taken you, like, what, maybe an hour and a half? Pausing in between? Maybe two?
Something like that. Yeah, I'd say something like that, I guess.
And so it's hard to see, but you can kind of see the red over there. We still have a few more posts we're waiting on delivered. But you did that all by yourself, didn't you?
Yes. We'll say that. All by myself. No
All
help at all from you.
by yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, we definitely didn't have any mechanical help.
Right.
All these posts were dragged out here, were put in the holes and pounded down tight. And all the wire is going to be strapped to them, stapled tight, all without machines.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this kind of fits on almost a little bit to your mulch video about, doing homestead things without machines, like kind of the realistic labor expectations when you're trying to save money and get things done.
Exactly. And just to clear it up, we're doing this for a save money type point of view. We're not of Amish beliefs or anything. We're not avoiding technology, but technology is expensive, and let's be realistic. There's no technology to help you drive down posts other than a tractor or something, and that's not coming back here anyway. So this is realistically the way to do it and what you're going to expect as a regular homesteader. Only if you're a commercial farmer are you going to have anything that's going to help you get posts in the ground.
Right. But you're going to pay for it in one way or another, right?
Oh, yes. Yep.
And so this, really the only expense here is time and physical energy, right?
Yep, exactly. And we are doing it while we're youngish.
Yeah.
Yep, because there'll be a time when this is all set up and then we'll just have to do maintenance. And that'll sort of be our later years when, we're slowing down. I mean, I'm already, I'm not 20, so. But at least I'm in a financial spot now where we can get the posts and that. It's a trade-off, It's the old endless saying, when you're young, you have all the energy and none of the money. We're in that middle zone where there's a little bit of money and a little bit of energy. So do what
But
we
at
can.
the same time, there's the thought process where you're homesteading, and the way we did it the hard way from scratch of a woodlot. It also comes down to prioritizing where you are willing to spend that money.
Exactly.
So we could have had someone come and do this. We could have rented a machine.
Yep.
We could have done all those things. We could have bought a tractor, but it changes the dynamic. It puts more stress on because there's more money leaving, and it takes money away from other places.
Right.
Which is where we would prefer. So we do kind of that cost analysis a little bit because we're weirdos and whatnot. But I'm going to let Dean get back to cutting. But I thought it might be good to show you kind of what we do by scratch, by hand, and
where we do it.
And it is currently 5:51. And so you just got home, didn't you?
Yep. Just got home from work.
And I just finished work, around 4, and we still have a ton of chores. We haven't had supper yet, have
No,
we?
haven't
Right?
eaten. They eat first. They
Yeah.
get to eat first.
And so we'll probably stop at, 7 or 8, and then we'll go have supper and then start to relax. So basically, we're working, well, you leave the house at what time?
I leave the house at 6:30.
6:30,
Yeah.
and we're pretty much going to eat supper, which is our summer trend, at around 9 or 10. So that's the sacrifice we've made, isn't it?
It is, but it's all for something, right?
And
It's
it's
nothing-
awesome, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
When you hold those babies,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
It is, exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Dean's got to get to work. I have to supervise for a change, but it's going to be exciting to see this. Dean's pounded all of these posts. I just set them and carried them up. We still have to take up all the wire. We're working on that now, one sled at a time, one roll at a time, and then we have the fun struggles of attaching it.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave you with that. I think this is a good video. If you have any questions about any of the tools we used or how we did anything, let us know, comment below, and I would eagerly show you the video of how Dean has to pound these posts by hand, because it's quite the workout.
Yes.
And where he was a muscle builder for a while, it's kind of nice, but I can also do it too.
Yep.
You know, as a smaller person, so it's kind of interesting to see. All right, say goodbye, because it's time for your break to end.
Bye, my break. Bye.